So, hello and welcome to our session today. Great to have you in our YouTube stream. And today we start with a short series of the SAP Application Lifecycle Management webcasts. There will be 4 webcasts distributed over the upcoming 4 weeks. The timing is always the same, so the same day, it's Wednesday, and it's 5 p.m. CET. Our opening session today will focus on the comparison of the SAP Cloud ALM, Application Lifecycle Management, and SAP Solution Manager. In this session, our expert speaker, Cay Rademann, who is Senior Solution Expert for Application Lifecycle Management at SAP, will highlight key differences and provide general recommendations regarding the selection of your ALM platform. He will be answering the most important questions like, what is your solution landscape? What is your IT strategy? What are the costs? This will guide you finding the right ALM solution for you. After watching this session, you will have a better understanding whether SAP Solution Manager or SAP Cloud ALM is a better ALM solution for you. My name is Larissa Brinkmann from the SAP Global User Groups organization, and I'm your host for today. We kindly ask you to post your questions via live chat, and our expert speaker will answer the questions at the end of his presentation. The PDF of this session will be available under the same link in the description to the video of today's session shortly after the stream is finished. With this, I wish you great interaction, and I kindly ask Cay to take over. Cay, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Larissa, and welcome everyone for this session. As Larissa just said, I am expert of Application Lifecycle Management, or ALM as the abbreviation, at SAP. And in this session today, I really plan to discuss with you the options for Application Lifecycle Management that you have, especially if you are an SAP S/4HANA Cloud or otherwise with SAP customer. Before starting, I first have to briefly show you this disclaimer. My presentation might include some forward-looking statements, and of course, forward-looking statements may not ever turn out as expressed. If I say it will rain tomorrow and it does not rain tomorrow, you cannot blame me on this. But now let's really go into the topic. And first of all, there might be some of you that are not so experienced with Application Lifecycle Management. Let me briefly give you a definition of Application Lifecycle Management. Application Lifecycle Management is everything you do for managing your business applications throughout the entire lifecycle. So this includes on the first of all, of course, the implementation. You have to design how your business processes shall run on the applications. Then you have to configure or build the settings. You have to test if everything is fine, and you have to deploy the solution on the production area at the end. But you have to also take care that the system will run smoothly afterwards. That is done in the operations phase, where you want to detect any disruptions, where you analyze what has caused this disruption. You can correct them, and whenever possible, you can even automate this process in a way that the same disruption, if it shows up again, can be handled much easier. And finally, also there is another part in Application Lifecycle Management that is related to the service delivery. You do not need to do everything yourself. You can consume services, consulting services from SAP as well. And here the Application Lifecycle Management platform, which we provide to you, serves also as a service delivery platform. Basically, there are 3 different Application Lifecycle Management products which we provide at SAP. Let's start here from the right-hand side. That is the longest existing product, the SAP Solution Manager, in combination with add-ons called Focused Build and Focused Insights. This was a solution which we established about 20 years ago from now, so it's a long existing solution. Already at that time, we noticed that customers need support in better managing their SAP applications, and therefore we have provided this on-premise solutions for our, at that time, only on-premise customers that use SAP software. Then sometimes later, we noticed there were some customers who have special operations requirements due to very large system landscapes, or even solution providers that host solutions for multiple customers. For this group, we have then developed the Focused Run operations platform. This is our second ALM product which we have. And then the latest one, SAP Cloud ALM, is the youngest of all of them. SAP Cloud ALM has been built as a cloud service, as a cloud native service, with a special focus on cloud products. You know, more and more customers of SAP use cloud products, and for cloud products, it's somehow difficult to tell customers use an on-premise solution to manage your cloud products. So Cloud ALM is the latest product which we have. But I just do not just want to show you PowerPoints. I also want to do a quick demo. And since it is the latest one, I will switch to SAP Cloud ALM to give you at least a brief impression on how this looks like. Here we are now in the SAP Cloud ALM for implementation part. We have a project overview. You see here in the project overview a good dashboard of the project status. You see tasks which are need to be done. These tasks are derived from the SAP Activate methodology, the roadmap that we provide to our customers on implementing their products. And for example, you see here I have an overdue task to do. If I select one of these tasks, then I will see details on what I have to do. So it's here the fit to standard workshop execution with a description of what to do, with links to so-called accelerators that help you going through these tasks. And at the end, you also have the status information. You can change the status, for example, in the SAP Cloud ALM. So SAP Cloud ALM serves as a kind of operations platform for the SAP Activate methodologies. You can assign tasks to the people that do these tasks. You can control the process. And in this example, we had the fit to standard workshop to be executed. The fit to standard workshop is also an important step in the implementation process. Basically, the fit to standard workshop takes a look at the business processes that are in scope of your project. We have in SAP Cloud ALM all the SAP S4HANA and SAP S4HANA Cloud best practice processes, besides other products from SAP as well. And let me just take one example out of here for these processes, which we have. We also have the entire documentation available. We have links to, for example, test scripts, task tutorials, all this information immediately, directly available in SAP Cloud ALM. And if you take a closer look at the process flow of this process, then you will even get to a BPMN, business process modeling notification description of the process. So you see what you want to implement. You can adapt these changes, or you can also say, let's take this as an example, for this process step, I want to create a new requirement describing what needs to be done, or adding a note. This is all done within SAP Cloud ALM. And let me just show you one requirement which I have created before this demo, just to speed up a little bit. In the requirement, you see you have a full text editor with rich text probabilities. That is not so important, the content here at the moment. You see from the requirement, you can have related user stories, tasks that are related to this requirement, features which are used for transporting the changes, test cases, and so on. Basically, SAP Cloud ALM holds all this together to make sure that the right things are implemented. And if we take a look at the analytics part of SAP Cloud ALM, we also get some kind of traceability where you get a nice overview. This is just here at the beginning of our project, so not so much content, but for our requirement, you see what is the status of requirements, what are the user stories, and so on, linked to this. So this is really very helpful information if you or your partner runs the implementation project. But besides implementation, SAP Cloud ALM also takes care of operations. Let's, for example, take a look here at the integration and exception monitoring in SAP Cloud ALM. You get an overview about the status of your systems, dashboard, and if something shows up, you can drill down into the details. You could also use other functionalities like the so-called health monitoring. The health monitoring is similar to what you know from system monitoring from other systems. So a lot of performance indicators for the status of your system. And another nice feature I just briefly want to show you is the service level reporting, which we have in the business service management. In the business service management, you also get an just high-level overview about the availability of your system. So you see here for each day of February what was the status of the system. And if we drill further down in the list here, you also see there is not everything 100% green. So this is real data here. Just if you want to get an overview about the status, this is very useful for you. So let me go back to my presentation and really come to the point now. So I said Focused Run is an operations platform, but today we want to talk about the entire application lifecycle management. So I will ask the question, what is the better solution, ALM solution for you, either SAP Cloud ALM, the new one, or the well-established SAP Solution Manager? This is a question many people, many customers ask me, and let me just briefly summarize my answers to these individual customers. So first of all, it depends on which type of S/4HANA cloud do you have. Do you have the public edition? Do you have the private edition? Do you also have S/4HANA on-premise, which is also supported by S/4HANA, SAP Cloud ALM? These different things have different functionalities, of course, and here we have different recommendations for the different areas of application lifecycle management. So the easy answer is the operations part. For operations, the current recommendation from SAP is to use always SAP Cloud ALM for doing the operations. So even existing SAP customers that use currently SAP Solution Manager could switch over to SAP Cloud ALM because they have cost benefits if they change. I will come to this in a moment. The second thing interesting here is that for SAP S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition, also the general recommendation of SAP is to use SAP Cloud ALM, both for the implementation and for the operations part. This is because SAP S/4HANA Cloud provides some functionality like the test automation tool, like the continuous business configuration, which are directly used by SAP Cloud ALM, and therefore for these customers, our recommendation is to take a look at SAP Cloud ALM first. So there is only one block where it's not so easy, and this is if you have an SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition or SAP S/4HANA or Business Suite on-premise, on which tool to use for the implementation. And for this part, we have to have a closer look. We have to ask some additional questions, which I will talk about now. The first question is, what is your solution landscape? Do you have just an SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition, or do you have other SAP components as well? And depending on the answer of this, you see here on this picture a coverage of how well do SAP Solution Manager or how well does SAP Cloud ALM support the individual components. In the middle block, both of them can support these products. And here you see SAP S/4HANA, S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition, which is running well with both ALM solutions. But if we take the SAP S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition or just SAP S/4HANA Cloud here at the bottom right in the bubble, there you see this is better supported by SAP Cloud ALM. This is due to the integration of this test automation tool and the CBC, continuous business configuration, which is not supported by SAP Solution Manager. And if you take a look at the left-hand side, you see there are also some components based on non-HANA databases, SAP Business Objects or Java, SAP Java tools that are not so well supported by SAP Cloud ALM. So depending on which tools you have in your landscape, this might be a first direction to look for regarding your ALM platform. The second thing is then, what is your IT strategy? IT strategy is the question, where are you today and where do you want to be tomorrow? Do you want to move more into the cloud, or do you want to stay on-premise? There were some customers of SAP that will stay on-premise for quite a long time, as it looks like, and others that are happy to go into the cloud. And it's also a question regarding how individual are your ALM processes. Do you just want to use standardized processes, or do you want to use your individual ALM processes? And for those parts which is more individual and more on-premise focused, of course, here the SAP Solution Manager is the right product. But for cloud-centric customers that want to have a more standardized processes, here Cloud ALM is the clear favorite, and the others, probably you as well, are lying somewhere in the middle here. So we are not to the final solution yet, but we have a better understanding at this moment. The next question then is, which ALM capabilities do you need? And yeah, this is a good question. Of course, you need everything, but do you really want to invest in everything? And here the good thing is to ask yourself, how am I doing my application lifecycle management so far? Do I use the SAP Solution Manager, or do I have another application lifecycle management solution, or maybe even Excel or SharePoint based tools? And then you have different expectations on what you really want to achieve with the application lifecycle management. I cannot say that the one side or the other side is the better one. That are just two different approaches, and yeah, the best one is that fits best to you and to your organization. But I just want to ask you to be open-minded. Also, the other side has good reasons for doing it on their own way. So do not say we have the only possibility. We have our possibility, but we might be able to adapt. So comparing these tools is also to like comparing a helicopter and a jet. So if with both tools you can fly, but you fly differently. So the helicopter is quite flexible, does not need any big infrastructure to start and land. The jet is more long-term, long-distance flights with needing a big infrastructure to start and land. So this is a similar comparison. Solution Manager and Cloud ALM are not identical, they are different, and you have to find out which one is the better option for me. Of course, I could tell you stories for quite some hours on what exactly are the differences. And as Larissa has also mentioned in her introduction, we will have additional sessions on the comparison of these tools in the upcoming weeks. But let me just briefly give a very high-level 4-point comparison from my point of view regarding Cloud ALM and SAP Solution Manager. So SAP Cloud, or let's do it this way. The first comparison is regarding the document flow, how the documents are used to document what is happening in your project throughout the project lifecycle. Here in SAP Cloud ALM, we have just one plain document flow. We create requirements, we add user stories, we add tasks, we add test cases, and we use features later on for managing the transports. That is the way in SAP Cloud ALM. In SAP Solution Manager, in combination with the focused build and focused insights add-ons, here we have pre-configured change types. So depending on which type of change you want to execute, there are different options to process. So this is the one thing. The second separator from my point of view is how the workflow is managed with SAP Cloud ALM. We have a simple, flexible workflow. For example, you can decide if you want to use user stories or not in your process. If you take the Solution Manager on the right-hand side, there we have a very strict process governance. If you have selected a change type which requires user stories or comparable things, then you have to follow this approach. There is a strict governance process. If you want to strict governance, then SAP Solution Manager is probably better. If you want to be more flexible, then SAP Cloud ALM is better. Third point is the change control. SAP Cloud ALM has just a standard change control. At least at the moment, you see at the top right, this is information from February 2023. We will enhance the change control in SAP Cloud ALM in the future, but at the moment we just have a standard change control, whereas in SAP Solution Manager we have advanced deployment control, which gives you more flexibility, handling more complex things in the control easily. So this is the point number 3. And the fourth point is just the origin of these tools. So SAP Solution Manager was designed for on-premise products. This means that it contains a lot of functionality within the SAP Solution Manager that is required for managing all kinds of on-premise deployments, implementations. With SAP Cloud ALM, we have a design for cloud-centric customers, and cloud also means flexibility. So this is also not everything that is needed is included in SAP Cloud ALM itself, but with SAP Cloud ALM, we make use of other cloud services which are available. And this is also seen here. I have listed a few processes which are part of SAP Solution Manager, but which are not included in SAP Cloud ALM at the moment. So for example, for custom code management or data volume management, there have been services available already while we have created SAP Cloud ALM, and the idea is not to reinvent the wheel, but to reuse existing services within SAP Cloud ALM. So these were just some brief thoughts regarding the functionality which you need. As said, I will have more detailed sessions on this coming up soon. But functionality is just one side of the medal. On the other side, you also have to think about costs. And regarding costs, the SAP Cloud ALM is a clear advantage of compared to SAP Solution Manager. SAP Cloud ALM is a cloud-native solution. This means you do not need to take care about hardware and infrastructure. You do not need to operate the system. You do not need to deploy nodes or support packages for SAP Cloud ALM. This is all done by SAP, so a lot of cost savings. And also, if you take a look at the operations part, then we have with SAP Solution Manager a need that you deploy agents for the connected managed systems. This is also not required anymore for SAP Cloud ALM, so a lot of things you have to save times. And there is just one thing to add here, and these are special cases, especially if you are a cloud-only customer with SAP. If you have no on-premise maintenance agreement with SAP, then you do not have usage rights for SAP Solution Manager. You can only get SAP Solution Manager in this case if you subscribe for the so-called SAP Solution Manager Private Cloud Edition this is an offering from SAP Enterprise Cloud Services, and this unfortunately also comes with some additional cost. So the final questions I wanted to discuss with you is just what is your timeline? There are some customers that say, I want to start immediately, and others say, I just think about it. I might start beginning of next year. And here it is important to understand that the feature roadmap of SAP Cloud ALM is very fast developing. We deliver new functionality bi-weekly throughout the entire year. So you see at the bottom left in the small print what is available today and functionality, and you see on the top right a lot of new functions are also planned for the near future. So if you say I want to use SAP Cloud ALM end of this year, beginning of next year, just consider it will look different in the future than it does today. So the question is, of course, also for customers that use SAP Solution Manager today, when shall I start switching over to SAP Cloud ALM? Similar questions as for those customers that just start net new with SAP, whether they shall use SAP Solution Manager or SAP Cloud ALM. And for those customers that use SAP Solution Manager already, here we say at the moment, at least think about switching for the operations part of SAP Solution Manager, switching over to SAP Cloud ALM. You could still work on existing projects with SAP Solution Manager for the implementation part. We do not recommend to change horses during the race, but at least think about using SAP Cloud ALM for operations, and basically you can just do a test of this while you are still working on the Solution Manager for operations. Just switch on your SAP Cloud ALM tenant, which is a part of your SAP Enterprise Support Maintenance Agreements, which you have if you do not have a cloud subscription. Just try it out, see if it brings value to you for not deploying these agents on the systems, for not doing maintenance activities in SAP Solution Manager. So with this, I come to the end of today's presentation. Just remember, there are 5 key questions to answer for getting the right answer on which SAP Application Lifecycle Management solution is better for you. There is no general answer to this. This is highly customer individual, but you can find out what is better for you now. And I have also linked a blog series and an update of this here on the slide. As Larissa said, you can see the slides at the YouTube site. And with this, I want to thank you for today for listening, and I'm looking forward to meet you again next week on Wednesday with the second part of our series, which will cover the implementation side in more detail. Yes, thank you. And Larissa, I think it's time now for doing the Q&A.
Right. Thank you, Cay. Thank you for your presentation and for showing the demo. I think the questions that you brought up are very relevant, especially for those who develop strategies, IT strategies for the customers. And I can only encourage our participants to bring up questions in the chat. So far, we had questions regarding distribution of the presentation. And I will share a link to download a PDF of Cay's presentation right after the stream is finished. So you will be able to download the PDF for your consumption on demand. And I also put the upcoming sessions, the announcements of the upcoming sessions with the corresponding links in the chat for those who would like to join us in the upcoming weeks. And I hope you did so, so we can really welcome you in one of our upcoming sessions. So far, I can't see questions in the chat, but I think I can bring up the question that comes pretty often in customer interactions, in customer discussions. And this question is around timing. So, for example, how long does it take to start with Cloud ALM?
That's a very good question, Larissa, and the answer is even better to this. Basically, the process for getting SAP Cloud ALM is if you are entitled to use it, you just have to go to SAP for Me and request SAP Cloud ALM. There you can also find the link to this from the SAP Cloud ALM homepage. and then it takes about 12-15 minutes or so, and you will receive your inviting email to exactly your own Cloud ALM tenant. So this were then 15 minutes. And then you have to, of course, do some additional configuration. So connecting it to your system, you have to your system landscape, you have to, of course, allow users to access the system. You do not want to work on SAP Cloud ALM alone. So I would say it can take 60 minutes to really start with SAP Cloud ALM, to start with an implementation project. And of course, if you want to do operations, it might take a bit more time, but also there you just have to let SAP Cloud ALM know what you want to monitor on which systems. I talked to people that also said we managed to set up business process monitoring for our S/4HANA system in about 1 or 2 hours. So comparing this to SAP Solution Manager, it's definitely much faster, but for sure it still takes some time. But it's more minutes or hours than days or weeks.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for this insight that the timing for the implementation improved, of course, for Cloud ALM. I've also posted the link to Cloud ALM on supportsap.com directly into our live chat for those who would like to take a look at it, so you have the chance to do it immediately from our live chat. So I can't see additional questions, but the chat functionality will stay available also with the video. So if you happen to have questions afterwards, please feel free to state them via chat functionality or contact Cay directly, as he provided his contact data in the PDF that will be available for a download. With this, I can only encourage you to join us in the upcoming weeks for the sessions that will come under the ALM series. And I would like to thank you, Cay, for his presentation and the demo, and to all the viewers and listeners of our session. Thank you very much for your participation. We are looking forward to welcome you in one of our upcoming sessions and wish you a great day. Thank you and bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you also from my side, and see you next week.